This is the Revved Up Sports Show with Bobby Chaffee.
We do have this nice little format that we try to follow every week. We don't usually follow it.
And Rodney Rodriguez.
Entertain me. Tell me something. I need to know something other than what I'm seeing.
Y'all ready? Here we go. Here's Bobby and Rodney.
Yep, here we are. It is go time once again. Hashtag Real Race Talk from Texas. Showtime, Bobby Chaffee, Rodney Rodriguez. Another week. People still complaining about bump and runs.
Still.
Whatever.
It's part of it. I've learned to live with it. I'm not happy about it, but I learned to live with it.
You know, we've been doing this a long time like this, and still people get confused, and it's like, what's going on? I mean, I don't care if it's at NASCAR. I don't care if it's at the dirt track or the asphalt track. That's how we race, and still. But anyway, we've got questions throughout the night. We got to talk about Cotton Bowl coming up. They're getting fired up. Gulf Coast, we'll talk about that. We want to talk about the factory stocks kind of escalating and sport mods, limited modifieds dwindling. I think you saw it. I mean, How was Texana? How was that program?
It's a really good show. I thought that's probably one of the better, if not one of the best SUS sprint car shows that I've seen in a while. Yeah. It was kind of fun to announce that one. It was good. Finally had the live timing and scoring up and running, which makes we forget how good we have it when we have the live timing and scoring as announcers until you don't have it and you're like, oh damn, I got to do this old school and pay attention to who's running where. So it was nice to have it, but I think overall it was a good show. We were done pretty early. We were done a little after 10:30, so even I had a chance to go around BS in the pits a little bit. Left about 11:30, got home at 1:30, so pretty successful show, I thought.
Also going to talk to your man, Cody Beto. I mean, that'll be fun.
I know, it was my idea,
too. A winner. Yeah, well done. Really well done.
Yeah, finally, Cody finally gets it done on dirt after years of trying. Won a lot of races on the asphalt with his limited modified series and his limited modified itself, so Cody and I go way back, and we worked together when we did the Tom stuff with the Texas Asphalt Limited Modified Series, and then we also come through, and I helped him out in Corpus a little bit, so a good thing that Cody did. But back to Texana, I really enjoyed it with the whole overall show. I think a couple of the classes were a little lean than what needed to be. Obviously, you can always have a few more cars in the pits, but the Sport Mod race, despite the fact there was a few cars, actually turned out really good. And I thought that the big mod, the IMCA modified race itself, turned out really well. At the end of the night, having to go through some of the bumps and the bruises and stuff with some of those. So Ryan Slot put on a really good show. Found a way to bounce around the top and actually ended up winning that race. So after locking up the front end there for a little bit, thought he was dead in the water. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty good show. The SUS sprint car, Randy Waller and the gang, put on a pretty good show, and they were, a lot of them were fired up and they looked good, and the fans were out in force, and hell, that's what it's all about.
You got to love it when the sprint cars show up, because that's the one thing I talk about at Waco all the time. All you got to do is put sprint cars, and they show up. And there's lots of different kind of sprint cars, but man, what a show! What a show! And again, we'll go to the factory stock thing. So many. I was looking at tracks all around the country, or all around the country, all around the state. There is not a shortage of factory stocks.
It wasn't, well, a little bit. It wasn't a little bit in Bristol, but Bristol,
and a shortage of fans too.
It's hard to believe that the number one class there at Bristol was the Hornets, was the 4-cylinder class, and they had the most cars and actually put on the best damn racing of the whole week up there running on the Bristol dirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the comment right there. Put the kids in the junior limited class at Heart Attack. Yeah, I mean. It is about that. I mean, we got to get the kids involved, and I do applaud Heart of Texas, for they're the ones that really make a great effort, and that class has grown. I mean, you got a couple of guys that have graduated out of that class and gone on to race in other divisions, and they're doing really well. But that really is the future right there, and I like that class. I mean, I do like that class. I talked about it on the broadcast on Friday night, where to me, as a dirt track, outsider, so to speak, looking at that, I like that better than a Sport Compact or Hornet to me, because if you want to continue moving up through the ranks and everything between the horsepower, the way the car works and everything, I mean, I think it's better in a junior limited.
But see, I'm more of an E-mod guy. Because I feel like if you're going to have the affordable class, the entry level class,
is there one?
Not really. But I think that it's better off to open it up. Are you going to? You're going to have your rookies spin out, whether they're 10 years old, 12 years old, or 35 years old. Your rookies are going to spin out anyway. So I'm more taking that same style of car and turning it into an E-mod than the actual junior limited, because your window of opportunity as a promoter is so small. When you're concentrating on just the junior limited, does it eventually get a little bit taller? Yeah, you get them, but your window of opportunity, getting not only the young kids involved, but the other guys that are sitting in the grandstands, they know they can't go out and afford a sport mod. They know damn sure they can't go out and afford a factory stock, but they can have a realistic idea. They can get a really good deal on a used sport mod, especially right now with nobody running them. Put the chip in it, put the crate in it. Boom, go racing. And
then you can convert it, at whatever point. And that's one of the things that Joe talks about when we're doing those shows, where he's like, okay, you have the car, and you have the concept there. I mean, you can change whatever you need to change. I love the way that all works out. And it really is. It does seem to be the landing point to bring the new kids in. And, they seem to be doing well, and I love again, I'm throwing the love thing around here. I like what Joe and them are doing at the racetrack, where they're gonna have like a 101, and that's what needs to happen, because you throw them out there and it's like, oh man, what do you do? I mean, what's a restart? I mean, what's coming to the green? I mean, all of that. I really like what they're doing there at Waco, and I mean, people need to go do that. Go do that, because that's the important part.
Well, hell, it's sometimes not just the kids that need it too. There's adults that need some refreshers about it, or pretty much any rookie that comes into racing now. There's so much to learn. You got to figure, when I started racing the high 5, 10, 12 years ago, I guess it's been 12 years ago now. While I was a rookie, hell, I was around it for 15 years, so I understood everything.
But it's different when you get in the car.
Totally different. Did I understand that I needed to pay more attention to that yellow flag? Mm-hmm. Who did you pay attention to going down the front straightaway? Did you watch your flag man, or did you watch the car in front of you? I always watched the car in front of me. I didn't pay attention to the damn flag man.
Yeah. And that's where it's different now, because like when I started, I mean, it was like you had to watch Flagman. Now you've got with the receiver and all that, and that's really important. And it's hard to zone into that, because that's really, there are people there that are going to guide you, and you get caught up in everything. But it's a really good thing, and I like what they're doing there, because that's super important. And I applaud them, and great thing, for Joe to come up with that, because he's raised a kid. And I think that's the main reason that he's doing that, because he's talked about when Zach was starting to race, and it's like, okay, here's what you got to watch. And I remember my dad, vividly. He's like, if you're going into turn number 3, look at turn number 4. Realize what's going on, and that's what you have to do.
That was hard to do sometimes, to look a full corner in front of you. I remember having that.
Man, it's even harder now. I mean, when you're, you can't. You can't. I mean, because you're all tied in. But I like that, and I think that's a very good thing. But I do. I mean, I like the junior limiteds. I like the E-mods. I think that for dirt, that's really good stuff. Really good stuff.
And I think it works for dirt. Does it work for asphalt? Probably not. They tried the limited modifieds there on asphalt. The only time that they actually got I think the only time the formula actually got right with the limited modifieds on asphalt was when Cody and I were doing it. Mm-hmm. Because you had so many cars. The rules were there where it was pretty simple. We just copied and pasted the IMCA rules and let them run an asphalt tire. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's pretty much what we did. Obviously, we didn't require the IMCA stamp parts, so that was a plus if they wanted to go back and run dirt. When the series changes, when somebody finally got smart, and we've seen it with the outlaw cars, when somebody went out and built a purpose-built asphalt limited modified.
That's the factory stock thing. I mean, and that really comes into one of our questions, with the evolving of the factory stock. And I mean, I hate to say the dwindling of the limited modified or the sport mod, whatever it may be. I mean, junior limited, yeah, great way to hopefully enhance people to continue with that. But I mean, Heart of Texas, there's a lot of sport mods or limited modifieds, whatever. Up north, there are a lot of sport mods, limited modifieds. But it seems like in South Central Texas, man, they're dwindling, and the factory stocks are building up. And I mean, I know money's important. I mean, you go race for $5,000. I mean, that's a good thing. But man, I hate that. I mean, I hate that, because I love the sport mod. If I could race a car, I'd race a sport mod.
Or a stock car.
Well, I mean, but if I wanted to be open wheel, I would race a sport mod. I love those cars, man, and they are so good. And the guys that do that, I mean, the horsepower and the little tire and all that, it really does, like we talk about with NASCAR and all that, it puts it in the hands of the driver. And I love that class. And man, it's all what do they say? Cyclical. Yeah, it'll shake itself out, but factory's the way to go. And we'll just have to see what happens with that.
Now, I think the demise of the sport car class right now has been two things. One is the factory stocks, and two, it's coming through, and it's really not that much more expensive to run a big mod now than it is a sport mod. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so you got two major factors facing you in the, kicking you in the face on that. So that's, I mean, I don't know what you do about it. I mean, I don't think the genie's out of the bottle when it comes to the factory stocks. No getting that genie back in the bottle for those.
It's a lot. I mean,
it's just a lot.
It's a lot.
They have a lot of money in the sport mod or in the factory stocks. And I don't see that money going anywhere. I mean, guys are still building factory stocks and still making that kind of work. And I don't know, dude. It's the promoters are the ones that have a hard time trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, and now they're purpose built. I mean, that was a great thing that you said right there. Star-studded lineup. Let's go to the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline for the first time this evening, and we're going way up north. We're going way up north. Phil Whipple with another great hookup right here as we're going to talk to one of the really damn good racers up there. We're talking to Joey Polwarchik. Joey, how we doing, man?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on here.
Did I butcher the name?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
I was glad Rodney went first because I would have totally butchered that one.
No, it's Paul Warsnick.
Paul Warsnick. We'll just call you Joey Pole, just like they do. From here moving forward. That's the way we're going to do it. So, talk about your weekend, man. It looked like you had a little bit of everything going on. Maybe a couple of hiccups there with that old ride height thing, but still rebounded at the icebreaker. Break it all down for us.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's starting off a new year with a new team with Richard Moody Racing. It gave me a great opportunity to come and run with them. And, we started off great at Hickory a few weeks ago. And, this weekend, we had a really good car. I made good adjustments on Friday's practice day and was able to get a good draw for our heat race and win the heat. But unfortunately, we were just a little bit too low. So we failed post-race tech and had to start dead last, but still rebounded with a good top 5. So we'll take that and just move on to the next one.
So we ask a lot of the guys when they come and run down south, do you have to change your driving style? Or were there enough northern invaders that were coming down running at Easter Bunny and the other past races where you didn't really have to change much of your driving style?
Yeah, it's with that race being at the Easter Bunny, there was a lot of northern guys, and ultimately pretty much a pro late model race, crate motors, and it's the same kind of driving style that's up here because that's basically what we run up here. So I mean, when you go and run like the snowball derby and things like that, where they have the big motors and stuff like that, you definitely have to change your driving style quite a bit more. But for the last few we've gone down south, it's been pretty similar to what we run up here.
Yeah. So how big is it for you? I mean, you mentioned Richard Moody Racing. You to make that change. I mean, you've been synonymous in the 97 car. Now you're going to the number 4. I mean, how that's kind of weird. I mean, it's a great opportunity, but it's gotta be just a little bit of a shift for you.
It's different, it's definitely different just because, we've kind of done everything ourselves for so many years, but, Richard Moody has built such a good reputation up north with Ben Rowe and think of all the wins that they've gotten. And, it's that he's someone that I, looked up to when I was first starting off. He was winning everything at the time. So it's kind of surreal to have the opportunity that I have. And, I'm extremely grateful for it. And, hopefully we can just keep building off these good runs and hopefully get in victory lane soon.
Yep.
So, Joey, you were a mainstay, a power player there in the ACT Tour, the American Canadian Tour. Is there a big difference between the two series? I mean, other than maybe a little bit of the car stuff. I mean, do you prefer one over the other, or is it just a racing deal when you show up, or do you have to change much when you race between PASS and ACT?
It's a big change. Two totally different race cars, really. With the PASS Tour. It's a super late model, open shock rules, bump stops, straight rail cars. The rules aren't wide open, but, 10-inch tire, more accustomed to most super late models, pro late models, things like that. But the ACT Tour, they run 8-inch tires, a spec shock. Everyone has sealed motors, no bump stops, spring rubber rules. It's a very rules orientated division.
Yeah.
And just two totally different driving styles. Super late model, once you pull out on the track, it's pretty much slam down on the track, as opposed to a ACT car. You get a lot of movement. The car comes up, it goes back down. Two totally different things, really.
Yeah, that's a great thing, and I mean, talk about with late model racing, it's so weird because, like Bobby mentioned, you've got the North and the South, and I'll tell you what, I think that people in the South don't realize how great you guys are up in the North, and maybe some of the folks in the North don't realize how great the guys in the South are. I mean, talk about that divide right there, and the thing is, there's plenty on both sides.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. I mean, There's New England is pretty lucky to have really good car counts. Like at Oxford, Maine, they'll draw usually almost 40 cars for any pass race that they have there, and
wow.
There's just so many good guys that could win there on any given night. And it's the same thing when you go down south. There's people that maybe don't go touring as much, but even at your local tracks that are just really good. And it's I think short track racing has some of the best drivers across the country. You just go watch on Saturday night and you'll see why. It's pretty cool, and it's pretty pretty cool to see it all around the country.
Absolutely.
So there's two big, as a race fan, there's two big late model races that you got to go see, right? You got the bucket list. It's the Snowball Derby. If you love that type of racing in the South, and up north, you guys have the Oxford 250. And that's a big one. That's on our bucket list. Is ever since Phil Whipple's been getting on us about trying to get up there and go, and Phil's been breaking us into all the greatness that is that northeastern late model racing scene. But you won a lot of money one year with the 250. I mean, what other than just spending it on race cars? What do you do with almost $50,000 winnings for when you had the dominating performance in 2012?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. That was you couldn't draw up a day any better than that to lead all those laps at $100 a lap, and then to win it, and it's 25,000 win. It was when they brought the check over, I was like, whoa, it wasn't it didn't click until I saw it. But no, I mean, really, just racing's so expensive that anytime we can kind of pad that account, it's a good day. So it pretty much all went right back into it.
Yeah, no doubt. So talk about, you and Eddie McDonald. You guys, man, that's some of the great racers right there up north. Talk about him. We're hoping to talk to him as well. We're really wanting to get into the northern, feel of everything. Talk about that dude right there. He, along with yourself and some others, just great racers up there.
Yeah, Eddie. I can go back to, as a kid, Wayne Helliwell Jr., who's another really great racer from up here. He used to drive for my dad back, when I was too young to drive late models. I was driving quarter midget.
Yeah.
But Eddie was racing at Lee Speedway at the time as well, and him and Wayne would always battle. And throughout the years, Eddie and I have had our fair share of battles, to say the least, as well.
Love it.
He's one of the best of them, especially at the bigger tracks like Thompson and at Loudon. He's the guy to beat at Loudon. Just so smooth and really smart behind the wheel. Learned a lot from him, and you guys get a chance to talk to him. He'll definitely be a good guy to have on there.
Absolutely.
So, Joe, you kind of stole my thunder about this whole how did you get into racing thing. Obviously, sounds like your dad was into racing and you started out in the quarter midgets. How fast did you progress from like a quarter midget up into like a late model style car?
So I started in quarter midgets at probably 1997. So I would have been 8 at the time. And then from there went to mini cups, then went to a 4-cylinder truck. And then right from there, in 2004, I started running late models, like ACT style late models, and really just progressed from there. The next year, I started on the ACT tour. And a guy named Tom Curley ran the ACT tour and kind of took me under his wing, I guess you could say, a little bit. He came and watched me at a local track, Lee Speedway, and invited me to come to Canada and kind of watch me. And I kind of joined the tour from there on out and struggled, man. I struggled, crashing every week as a young kid. I would have been, I was 14 at the time, but I was like 16 for 2 years, so it's kind of weird. That's how I would always get introduced as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
But no, just learned what not to do a lot. And, luckily things kind of started clicking for me, I guess, and we started having a little success. And, the next thing you know, it's 20 years later.
Man, it flies by, doesn't it? It's so crazy. It is so crazy. Yeah, I've got pictures up of my racing career here in the studio, and it's like, man, I'm old.
Yeah,
it's like
I have a 3-year-old now, so it's going by even quicker.
That's the other thing that I wanted to ask you about. So how crazy is that? I mean, because it's like when we're young, we're the lifestyle is whatever, but then you kind of ground yourself a little bit. You get married, have a kid, whatever. It changes things a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it definitely does. It makes you think of life a little bit differently, but most of all, I think it makes time go by a lot faster, it seems.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Hey, Joey, what's a Granite State Pro Stock? I noticed that you ran one of those cars. Help me figure that out. Where does it fit in the hierarchy between an ACT car and one of those full-fledged kind of super late models or whatever with those cars?
Yeah, it is a super late model. It's very similar to the past series rules. There's a little bit of a different shock rule. You have to run a single adjustable shock, different tire, different tracks, things like that. But it's another series up here. And 2020, we kind of dabbled around in it. They come to a track, and Pass came to a track that's literally less than a mile from my house, Hudson Speedway.
Wow.
And they go to some different tracks, and we decided to run the whole tour in 2020. Since 2016, I really for 10, 15 years straight, we ran full-time ACT racing and ran for championships and things like that. And then we kind of just picked and choose races from 2016 on, and then 2020 was kind of a weird year with the COVID and cancellations and things like that. So we kind of just went with that and ended up winning the championship. So it was a really cool year.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about, I know here in the South, we talk about Bob Harmon, way back in the day with All Pro and all that. Rex Robbins with ASA and all that. Bobby mentioned about the ACT tour. Talk about Tom Curley. I mean, that was a guy, I think he was very influential for you. Guys like that, I mean, that's what really helps. I mean, on the track is one thing, but when you get guys like that, I mean, that's the influences that really can help you advance yourself. Yeah,
he was he had a reputation as it was his way or the highway, but he didn't mind telling you if you did something wrong and things like that. As a kid, I did a lot of things wrong, and he'd ride over on that golf cart and pull me on the other side of it, and we'd take a ride, and he'd let me know what I did wrong and things like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a special deal. He always said he saw something in me and wanted to. I don't know. Just he took a special interest in me and definitely had a lot of success and he taught me a lot. That's for sure.
Man, I love that. That's awesome.
Joey, what's next for you for this 2022 season? I mean, you have any plans to come run further south than you did with the Easter Bunny stuff? You got plans to try to run in Pensacola, maybe try to make the Derby?
Yeah, it's definitely something on our list of things that we want to do. Like I said, my first year with this team, Josh, the crew chief, I've known and been friends with for the past 6 years. So it's kind of, it's cool to work with somebody I know. And like I said, Ben Rowe, being, my teammate, is just someone I, grew up watching and idolizing. So it's really cool. And if we can just, keep putting these runs together and have a good season, then hopefully, maybe at the end of the year, we'll talk about that and see if it's something that we can do. So definitely on the bucket list, that's for sure.
That's right. So we were watching the race yesterday over at Richmond. I mean, you've run there. What you think of that track?
Really cool place. Probably one of my favorite places I've been to. That's for sure. We had only been there once, but it was a really good weekend.
Yeah, a win. So I mean, how fast is that place? Because with that tri-oval, with the front stretch, I mean, I think that's the one thing that's underscored about the place is that you don't realize you come out of turn 4, you're on the gas, and that thing, you're turning. It's a D shape. I mean, that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was kind of so. Obviously, we've all watched races on TV there, NASCAR going there, and all that. But I had never actually physically been there until we were racing there. And just walking it, on TV, it doesn't look like it's all that banked. Yeah. But then when we got there, it was like, man, this place is, it's got some banking. And yeah, like you said, you'd come off turn 4, kind of catch that yellow line a little bit, and then send that thing to the wall and kind of turn, but try to keep it up there as long as you could to try to get that run through turn 1. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun racing there.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. I think that would be a great racetrack to run at. So for you, I mean, like we talked about now, you're a dad. I mean, everything you've had to mature. I mean, it happens. You have to scale back a little bit. So, what's the plan moving forward? I mean, we all get gray. I've got gray beard now. So
you got a lot of gray hair now.
I got a lot of gray. Where do you plan to take this? Just keep having fun? Just now with the new team? I mean, what's the long-term plan?
Yeah, obviously starting out in the sport, I was so young in 04 and all that. I had, the dreams to make it to NASCAR, and I think that's everybody's plan.
Sure.
And I've had my fair share of amazing opportunities, and we've had a lot of success and been extremely fortunate. But really, I mean, we're just I just do it because I love to do it, and it's fun. It's just it's just something I love to do. So, I mean, I would have never dreamed of the career that I've had, and I still, I'm getting older, but I'm still, I'm not too old yet, so I can still go.
That's right.
I can still go a few more years. So it'd just be exciting to see, the things with this new team, and just, I'm excited for the future. Excited to see what we can do. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think it's going to be good. Congratulations on a great career up to this point and a good weekend, despite all the odds. I've been a victim of that ride height thing, like I said. So
it'll get you.
That shit sucks. So anyway, well done, my man. Thanks for checking in. I mean, thanks for talking to the folks down south. Much appreciated, man.
Yeah, really, really appreciate you having me on, and thanks to Phil Whipple for setting it up. He's definitely a good guy, and he does a lot for the Northeast. So cool for him to put me on here.
Absolutely.
So how do you know Phil? Like we try to get a background on our buddy Phil all the time about trying to get some insights. We know he likes to drink beer. We know he likes to drink free beer. But talk about our buddy Phil for a minute before we let you loose.
Yeah. No, I met Phil when I was just a kid, back when Tom Curley was running the ACT tour. Phil had a lot to do with Oxford, and I'm pretty sure it was, I was there at an Oxford race, and Phil was doing a lot of the media and things like that. And, I happened to do pretty well at Oxford, so I was in the press booth kind of often. So kind of our friendship progressed from there, and like I said, here it is 20 years later.
Yeah. He's a good dude. He's like a buzzard.
Yeah.
When he sees a good racer, he swarms in. So very well done. Very well done. Good stuff, man. We appreciate the time. Let's do it again soon, man.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
You bet, man. Take care.
All right. See ya.
You bet. There he is. Joey Pohl. I like Pohl.
Is that what you can say? Yeah. Is that what you can say?
Powarchik.
Yeah, I was going to butcher that one too.
Yeah. And I mean, he did. I mean, what a weekend. I mean, he I like what they do over there, because he won for the Icebreaker. He won a heat race. They run heat races. How about that? And big time
late model racing too. Won a heat race.
I know. That was cool. But man, that is great racing up there. I mean, those guys, they get after it, and that's I think that's where we in the South don't realize how great they are up there, and it's so good to talk to those guys.
Well, and they have so many different. We're still getting accustomed to the different kind of late models they have.
Mm-hmm.
You got your past late model, which is more the super type of late model with the 10-inch tires. Then you got a Grand Estate Pro Stock, kind of the same thing in between them. Then you got your ACT car, which is your pro late model type of car with the smaller tires and the smaller horsepower and less fancy, expensive ass shocks and and they have all of that, and they have an abundance of cars in all of the divisions up there, which is crazy. Here we are in Texas trying to figure out how we're going to get one late model race out of the one remaining asphalt track we got. Yeah. And then they've got 3 or 4 really successful tours up there, and then not to mention all the big races they got up there.
Mm-hmm. And I do like, because we talk about it here all the time, Bobby. When we talk to guys from up north, it really does seem like the guys from the west and the north and the south and the east want to be together, and that's like old times. That's like old times, only multiplied by thousands of dollars.
If there was only one national super late model tour that would put all these guys together, that would be almost perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff right there from Joey Pohl. We'll podcast that thing out. Topics of the day. Cotton Bowl Speedway is fixing to fire off on Saturday. Is this going to be their best season? I really think that isn't it weird the way the weather has remember they would always get rained out?
Always.
They never get rained out anymore. Is this going to be the Cotton Bowl year that they break out? They've been great the last 2 years, but is this going to be the time that they really kick ass?
Well, it's going to depend on one of two things. They're either going to be success like they had at the World of Outlaws, or it's going to end up being like that late model show where the racing was good, but nobody was there to see it.
Yeah.
That was the bad thing about the late model race. The late model race was fantastic. Mm-hmm. The highlights I saw, the racing I got to see out of it, racing was great. Problem was there wasn't a lot of butts in the seat for that. So I think that Cotton Bowl needs to take that momentum they had with the World of Outlaws. Granted, they're only running 2 local classes, Sport Mods and Big Mod, or was it Factory Stocks and Sport Mods, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They need to take that momentum they had and move that into 2022. And I would like, and this is going to sound bad, and I don't want to seem like I'm bad-mouthing, the management team over there. I've known H and Marianne for 25, 30 years.
Here we go.
I want to see Cotton Bowl put in effort the full year like they do for the Summer Showdown series.
I agree. That needs to happen because you're going to get. People want to go to that racetrack.
It's a beautiful facility. It's
I
fast
would want to
as
go
hell.
there. I would want to go there.
I just want to see them promote the whole season like they do that Summer Showdown series. And the Summer Showdown series is very successful. It does exactly what it needs to do during the lean time in the summer where people got other shit to do, and you're trying to get people to come to the racetrack, and you can make it happen. That's what I want to see, the effort through the entire season, because Cotton Bowl can be successful. It's one of the only tracks out in the middle of nowhere that has abundance of potential to make it work. They need a couple more corporate sponsors from all around. It's hard to get the big corporate sponsors in there because you're in the middle of nowhere, but it's still got the potential to be big over there.
And here's the thing with Cotton Bowl. You've got a group about this big of people that used to be at Kyle, that have moved over. I think you need to take that base and grow it. Exactly what you're saying. Go find the new people. Go find the people that you can. And it's hard. I know it's really hard to get them there because, like you said, it's not the most convenient but maybe it is. I really think that it's there. But man, that's a great point. What you just said, because they do with that Summer Showdown series, it's like boom, boom, boom. Here we go, big fireworks, and we're gonna do this and that. Do that all the time.
Yeah, do it all the time.
And it's not cheap. I know it's not cheap. I know
you don't have to run the big dollar purse every single week, but you'd like to see the promotion done throughout the season.
Yeah, and it does have to be, and that's a crazy thing because now it's not weekly. But it is.
Damn near every other week. Really, that's a lot of dates.
Pretty close. Enhance people to come out. Get them in there. But that's a great point. That's a very good point. Well done, dude. Why don't you promote that place?
Probably ruffle some feathers with that.
Well, no. I'm glad you did.
Let me be the bad guy.
All right, back to the Lone Star Speed Zone Hotline. We've, great show already. Talking to Joey Pohl, talking up north. This dude messaged me a while back, and man, I'm seriously ashamed that I did not reply sooner because this is a great story. Josh White is on the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline. This is a hero right here. First of all, Josh, before we talk about racing, thank you so much for your service. Man, that's the ultimate thing right there.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't say that I'm a hero.
Yes, sir,
the heroes are the ones that made the ultimate sacrifice. And, there's a lot more unfortunate veterans out there than me, and so I consider myself lucky. But I'm not a hero.
Yeah, well, but talk about your military background. We'll get to the fun stuff about racing and all that good stuff. But talk about your tenure there here serving the country.
I was a combat engineer. I assisted grunts in obstacle clearance, and I was at 4th Combat Engineer Battalion, Alpha Company. I did 6 years, and I made it to the rank of Lance Corporal. Could have made Corporal, but I didn't want the responsibility.
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody likes ranking up because, the higher you are, the more money you make. But also what comes with that is more responsibility.
That's right.
And, I wasn't ready to take that on, so I just stayed at Lance Corporal, left Lance Corporal. Everything's cool. I'm proud of my service in the Marine Corps, and it's when they tell you it's a brotherhood, it really, really, truly is. When I'm out somewhere, I see somebody wearing a Marine hat or whatever. It's just kind of like an instant connection. Especially if you're somewhere, let's say go to a bar or something. That they got your back. So
yeah,
it's really a brotherhood. And it's funny because it's a brotherhood shared in misery, right? Mm-hmm. But the bond is really strong. It's really unique, and I really miss the camaraderie of the Marine Corps. Is a great time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Josh, talk about the racing aspect. We talk about it all the time. You talk about the Marines being the camaraderie of that, but racing is such a unique sport because, you got tailgating in football and you got some hardcore fan bases depending on which team you're talking about. But racing as a whole, it's really one of those weird sports where you beat and bang with the guy in front of you and go toe to toe, but then you're in the parking lot drinking beer after the races are over. You're sitting in the pits loaning each other parts and pieces so you can go toe to toe again. It's a really unique situation with the camaraderie that racers and race fans all have together, isn't it?
It is something that I do that not a lot of other race drivers do. You go to these NASCAR tracks. Yeah, I've done this a lot in 2015 when I ran a full season of ARCA. A lot of these race car tracks, especially NASCAR tracks, they have camping spots. They have infield camping and whatnot. And I'll just go hang out with the race fans. And, man, you're talking about a good time, especially after the race. You don't want to drink and race, right? But
oh, we don't? We don't?
Yeah. After the race, even then, hanging out with the fans is a great time. You tell them who you are, or if they already know who you are, it's just instantly, hey, man, you want a beer? Come hang with us. It's so cool. It's a fun time. And I love doing it. It's a lot different than, some other drivers might do it, but I haven't seen any. And I think a lot of fans appreciate that, driver to fan connection, being able to, hey, I'm having fun with a NASCAR driver, it's not something that happens a lot.
Yeah, that's right. So, Josh, talk about it. We talked about the military past and everything right there, but talk about your racing career. This thing goes back, to the early 2010s. Talk about the evolution of you now getting ready to race in the ARCA Menards.
Sure. So, it all started, when I was 16, I was drag racing. And I had an 84 Camaro, and I had a lot of fun at my local track. It was called Canal Valley Dragway.
Love it.
It's closed down now, unfortunately. But I made my move to circle track racing, and I've done crate late models. limited late models. Started playing West Virginia at I-77 Raceway, and I have 5 wins. And I had actually met, that's actually around the time I had met a team owner in the ARCA Truck Series. The ARCA Truck Series isn't around anymore. It was a great series.
Yeah, it was.
I ran a race with them, and I met Andy Hillenberg with Fast Track Racing, and I done I went to his school that year. It was fun. It was the first time I ever been in an ARCA car, and I also met Wayne Hickson while I was there racing the ARCA trucks.
Yeah,
and he gave me a shot at that. That same year is 2013. I'd done two races for him at Springfield and DeCoin, and then I tested at Daytona that year.
Nice.
And yeah, I didn't get to do anything the next year, but in 2015, I pretty much did the whole season. The only 2 races I didn't do was Daytona and Mobile. And I got 12th in points that year. It was a good year. I mean, we were extremely low budget.
Nice. Of all places. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Nice.
I mean, Charlotte's the hub where everybody's at. I mean, everybody wants to do good at Charlotte, but is there any added pressure for you trying to not putting all your eggs in one basket with trying to concentrate on Charlotte, but I mean, do you put any extra pressure to that, or are you always one of those hardcore racers that always puts way more pressure on yourself than you should?
It's no longer a balance of racing, work, and life. It's just racing, work, and not much life.
Yeah.
I constantly pushing, trying to find the next sponsor I could put on here and make ourselves that much better. I've got what I need to win the race as far as a good motor program. And I've got a really good crew. With what we have now, I should at least be on the lead lap We're aiming on getting a better chassis. That'll be the only thing left that I need to be able to win Charlotte. And then going forward, that chassis, it's my chassis. I'll be able to run wherever I want with it as long as I have the money. And so, I'm going to give, a team I'm with permission to use it, whatever. I'm buying that chassis. This is mine, and we're going to go try to win Charlotte with it.
Yeah. And how hard is that, Josh? I mean, because when we talk about NASCAR, it's one thing, local short tracks. I mean, it's hard to win there. I mean, it's really hard to win there, but to make an impact on the NASCAR tour, I don't give a damn if you're in a weekly series of NASCAR. It is, money. It drives everything, and that's where the sport has evolved. And man, it makes it so tough nowadays.
Extremely tough. If we was to talk about how expensive this sport is, it would absolutely blow your mind. The amount of money that gets spent in this sport, you can become, just a tremendous investor. Like if you was to take the same amount of money, you could probably become a very successful, realtor or
doing something else.
It's crazy. I could buy houses before I can go racing.
Right.
But it's what I love, and I feel like this is where I belong. I'm at peace when I'm behind the wheel. There's nothing else going through my mind. It's just the car, the track, and what do I got to do to win it? That's it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some of those behind-the-scenes expenses that not everybody thinks about. It's the little bitty things that start adding up after a while, right? Obviously, we're not talking about lug nuts here, but when you have to buy multiple lug nuts for practice pit stops and other pit stops, and you got the pit guns and everything else, talk about some of those hidden expenses that most race fans don't think of when it comes terms of trying to run even an operation like an ARCA car.
So, a lot of people think, you just take the race car to the track and, you race it. That's pretty much what they think, but there's so much behind the scenes that they don't account for or even consider or even would know. So you've got your motor program, okay? That is very expensive by itself. The Ilmore 396 only runs for 1,500 miles before it needs rebuilt. And by the time you hit that 1,500 mile mark, it's almost just as cheap to buy a new one.
Yeah.
And we're talking, to get it rebuilt is like $34,000 or something like that. And that's for another 1,500 miles.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And your tires, they're $2,500 a set.
Yep.
And you need a set for practice, a set for qualifying. After qualifying, they're going to impound your vehicle, so you can't put new tires on it. You're going to start the race on those tires that you have, maybe a couple laps on or so for qualifying. So then you need at least another extra set or two. So then you're talking, 3 or 4 sets of tires total.
Jeez.
It adds up. And then your fuel. Okay.
Yeah.
What people don't think about, okay, a lot of these race teams, most of them, especially in ARCA, all of them, they run on diesel. Diesel right now is about, I've seen it over $5 a gallon. Well, in order to fill up like a semi truck, for your hauler, it takes a lot. As much as gas costs right now, especially diesel, I wouldn't be surprised for you to fill it up from empty and it be over $1,000.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah. So you've got that. Then you've got how many people in your crew? You got front, rear tire changer. Okay. You got gas man. You got jack man. You got crew chief, spotter. Whoever else you want to bring. Everybody needs a hotel.
That's right.
Crew members, they might need to share a hotel, whatever your budget is.
Yeah.
But everybody's got to have a hotel. Everybody's got to eat. Then everybody's got to get, pay to get into the show. right? So that's $60 a piece right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And entry for your car. Everybody knows that, everybody that races knows, you got to have entry in for your car. Well, it's $400 or $500, whatever the case may be. Fuel for the race car. I think in 2015 it was $9 a gallon.
Damn.
And gas wasn't as high as it is now. So I don't know how much it is now, but it's probably up there. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was $15 a gallon or so. And you're going to have, I don't know, probably 2 or 3. Yeah, I'd say about three gas cans full. I'm talking about the Sunoco gas cans you see, the crewman put
11 gallon. Yeah, 11 gallon.
Yep. So that adds up really quick. Not to mention, if you wreck your car, you got to fix it. And that's where it gets really expensive. One body panel, and see, these are composite bodies that we're running now, and it gets really expensive just for one panel. Ranges depends on what you need to, the most expensive. $400, I think, is the cheapest one, and it goes all the way up to like a few thousand or something. But that's for like the greenhouse, which is pretty much the whole roof. So it gets expensive quick, and then not to mention going to different tracks or whatnot. You're going to have a super speedway car and your intermediate car, short track car, and a road course car.
Yeah.
Well, wherever you're going, you're going to have different spring setups, different suspension setups, all around, and that gets expensive.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's not unheard of for these ARCA cars to, you go and spend $3,500 just on lower control arms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it adds up really quick.
Yeah, real damn quick. So talk about, lastly, I saw, Josh, that there's ways where folks can be a part of your race car. I mean, I love that. I really like when you get the underdog. I mean, because you are. I mean, you're an underdog, and that's. I don't mean that in a bad way, but all the money that you're talking about right now, there's ways that folks can be a part of your race car. Talk about that and tell folks how to do that.
So I have a fan sponsorship program, and what it is, we have, for each race we can do it, and so it's $20 to get their name on my race car for one race.
Nice.
Yes. Or $30 for 2 races, or $50 for all 3. And we do have options to where they can come to the race with us. They can, be there just like they're a part of the team. They can get a pit pass for $250, or have a whole shebang ultimate experience for $500. And I'm not sending anybody any links, anything like that. I'm posting on my page. If you want to do it, just message me, comment, and usually, they message me, and I handle it from a case-by-case basis. We just go from there. I've got a pretty good notebook going on with a bunch of names, and I look forward to having them on my car at Charlotte.
Man, that is so cool. So cool. I love what you're doing. I mean, your love, racing, it's all about the love of the sport, and you really personify what it's all about. It's hard, it sucks, but man, you just have to drive, literally. You just want to do this shit, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And, I'm really trying my best to win, Charlotte. I really want to make history. My that is my focus right now. It would be so big for me and my sponsors for me to win alone, or for me to even get top 5. That'd be huge.
Yeah,
for me,
sure.
For me, racing is huge, But to win it and to make history doing it, would be the icing on the cake. If I won it, I would be the first United States Marine to win at Charlotte in NASCAR history.
And I think it's so cool what you're saying, because like we talk about, I mean, the odds may be stacked against you, but man,
they are extremely stacked against me.
But when you talk about, I mean, because my history in business and everything, when it comes to goal setting, you set the goal, and you're talking about winning this damn thing. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. My odds are definitely against me, but I like it. When you're in the Marine Corps, you improvise, adapt, and overcome, right? I'm out there against teams that are spending millions of dollars a year. They have pretty much an unlimited budget, right? Yeah. And so, of course, they're going to have the fastest stuff, best of the best, no expense, spared. Yeah, my work's cut out for me, but I've always worked for everything my entire life. I've never really had much given to me. I've always had to work for it. So if I got to go out there and work for the win, I want to work for it.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. I love the heart. I love the enthusiasm. Man, this has been so much fun. Let's connect. Man, super excited for you, dude. I can't wait for Charlotte.
For sure. I can't wait neither. It's going to be a great time, and it's going to be exciting. I'm going to have my woman there. She's never been to a race, so she has no idea what she's in for.
That's how you hook her. That's how you hook her right there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Or loser. So one fun. Of
the two. Yeah.
No pressure. No pressure.
Tell her, here's what you're in store for. This is your life moving forward.
Right? That's what I'm trying to tell her. She's like, I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
What are we gonna do? What's going on here? Yeah, no, good stuff, man. Oh man, Josh, thanks for the time, my man. Let's talk offline. Man, we'd love to be a part of this. We'd love to be a part of this, man. Let's kick some ass. I'm excited.
Let's do it, man. I'd be glad to have you. We'll talk. We'll see what we can work out, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for the time. Thanks for reaching out, and let's go do this, dude.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely, man. Take care.
You as well.
You bet. There he is. That's why we race. Right there. That's, dude. Are you kidding me? I love that where he's he ain't talking about going to race. He's talking about going to win.
Sound like Caden Honeycutt that time we asked him about if he was going to go to race or go to win when it came time to run in that Donnie Wilson car.
Well, and speaking of Caden Honeycutt, I mean, how about that dude? You want to talk about being on a roll? I mean, that guy is kicking ass. I mean, he's like 8 in a row right now, I think. But what a great story. I mean, this guy, he's done his duty there, and he is up against the 8 ball, and he has one thing in mind: winning the fucking race. And that's why we do this. I mean, that's why we do this.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a good story to have, and hopefully we'll watch Josh and see how as we get closer, maybe we can find a way to help him out and put something together and have a good time with it.
Yeah, that's right. Love that. Serviceman right there. That is Josh White. Check that out. The Marine. That's a cool thing. Back to the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline for a final time tonight. And now, speaking of guys that win, I mean, this dude just won a race at the old race ranch a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, I guess it is. Let's check in with the man. It is Cody Beto, or actually, as I should say, I talked to someone that was north that spelled the last name the same way, and they were Betois. Cody Betois. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I might have to start pronouncing my name like that.
You're going to throw every freaking announcer off when you do that. Absolutely, man. How's everything going, man? You enjoying some of that good sponsor privilege that you get?
Oh, absolutely. I'm about 3 beers in already.
Oh, well, yeah. So am I. It's good.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Just had to turn some wrenches on the car a little bit earlier today and just got home.
Love it.
So talk about it, man. You finally got the monkey off your back. Hell, might be calling it a gorilla. After all those years of trying, you finally got your first win on dirt.
Gorilla.
How did it feel, man?
Oh man, it felt great for sure. It was for sure a long time coming, and hell, after getting that first one, you don't know when the next one's gonna if or when the next one's gonna come. So I made sure to party it up pretty damn good afterwards.
Yeah, it tends to happen. Tends to happen. So Cody, how cool is it? I mean, I know that we've had variations of the race ranch, but for that thing to be solidly racing in Corpus Christi, especially with the Beto last name, how cool is that for you to have that thing up and going, and you know that you're going to be racing there for a while?
It feels great. That place is always really tough to even finish well there.
Yeah, it is.
And to be able to get a win on opening night, it feels phenomenal.
Yeah.
So last week we were talking to Carlucci about winning in his factory stock, and he said it kind of felt like asphalt. Was that falling in your wheelhouse there? You know, when that track kind of slicked off and turned into a pavement race?
Yeah, it kind of helped out a little bit, brought back some of the pavement habits, you know, just being real smooth on the throttle and not trying to keep the car straight, not break the rear tires loose, and saving tires for the end of the race. That was key as well.
Yeah. So Cody, let's talk about that. I mean, you come from your dad. I mean, one of the CC legends right there when it comes to that. You know, we talk on here all the time about racing in Corpus Christi, and we're going to lose the asphalt track. I mean, just talk about growing up in Corpus as a racing kid, as a racer. I mean, just talk about the rich history of racing in the Corpus Christi area.
Yeah, it was awesome growing up. I mean, we mainly stuck around the pavement track, CC Speedway. I grew up watching guys like Larry Smith, my dad, John Henry Witchie, the Carlucci's, Kyle and Clayton Carter, all kinds of guys running around there. And we went over the dirt track every now and then, watched Whitaker and Michael Check and Mayax and all those guys. It's just awesome. You know, Corpus I don't feel like gets enough credit for the rich racing history we have.
Agree. Totally agree.
And the women in it too. So talk about. Don't worry, we'll get into Tom's and talk about all of that before we get done. But talk about it in terms of preparation for you. How much different, other than washing the car when you're done, how much preparation goes into it versus when you used to run it on pavement versus now that you're running it on dirt?
It's a lot of maintenance. You gotta stay on top of it. You know, make sure everything's greased. You know, the normal stuff.
Yeah.
Keeping your tires washed off. I mean, that way they don't dry out with the mud on them. That's a lot of the same stuff, and I mean, especially on dirt, it's starting to get, you know, nitpicky a little bit on your setup and stuff, making sure it's exactly right. You know, because you know what they say, good enough never is.
That's right. So we'll ask you the same thing that we ask everybody. So looking at this, you know, in 2022, factory stocks, man, people are really gravitating towards that. To me, a limited modified, a sport mod, I mean, that is what I would love to race if I could. Your thoughts on that? I mean, people they want to run the factory stock, but your thoughts on all of that?
Myself, I kind of helped Hunter Flanagan work on his sister's factory stock a few times, and man, I just don't like working on those. The fenders get in the way.
I agree. I agree.
The sport mods, they're just easier to work on. You got more options with shocks and setup and stuff. It just, I don't know. I kind of gravitate towards the sport mod class. It's just a personal favorite of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think's causing everybody to go to the factory stocks? Is it because there's such big purses in there? Or is it easier to run a factory stock? I mean, you talked about it, said that it's not much fun to work on, but I mean, is it because you see $5,000 to win races for a stock car versus $400 to $500 to win for a sport mod?
Most likely that could be it. I'm not real sure though. I mean, you see the prices on them; they're about the same, if not more, as a sport mod. So, I mean, you know, you get what you put into it, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not real sold on it myself.
Yeah, I agree. So, Cody, do you miss running a series?
Absolutely not.
You know, we talk about the plight of the promoter and everything, and we love every freaking promoter on this thing, even if they're a shitty one. But dude, I mean, talk about man, and you were doing that as a young dude.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty large mistake. A lot of money spent on that could have been put somewhere else. I mean, we made a lot of good friends on the way. Steven Robinson and Abilene, he's a good guy, but in the end, you cannot make these people happy. I feel for these dirt track promoters that have to deal with multiple classes. I was just dealing with one.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I know it's crazy. I tell the story in here all the time about when we were working there with Tom's, and everybody kept complaining. The number one complaint is that the tires were too expensive. The tires were too damn expensive. The tires were too damn expensive. Then when you decided to go to the retread, the tires were hell about cheaper. Everybody said the tires suck. The tires suck. The tires sucked. It's like you can't win for losing with race car drivers.
No, you can't. And I mean, they're always going to find something to complain about. And race car drivers don't like change. I mean, it could be for the best of everything, and it's just if they have to change something, they're not going to like it. I'm the same way. I don't like change myself too, but hell, those retreads were like $80-something a tire. Now we're paying like $140 for sport mod tires.
Man, that's crazy. So, your thoughts, Cody, on racing down there? I mean, along the Gulf Coast or the Texas Gulf Coast. I mean, you got 37. 37's good. You've got Owen with everything there and the race ranch. How's this all going to play out in 2022? It seems like there's plenty of cars, but how's this all going to shake out?
Man, I hope later on in the year the diesel prices and stuff goes down, and maybe the part prices and tire prices go down. That way, people can afford to travel a little bit more. Yeah. Right now, it's just really tough. I feel for a lot of the guys. I mean, I don't necessarily want to go out of town either with diesel at like what $5 a gallon right now.
Right.
It's just tough.
Yeah.
But I think as long as the prices end up trickling down, I think the car counts will pick up on all the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about travel? I mean, obviously, when gas wasn't a factor, did you enjoy traveling around? I know I got to talk to you in Edna a couple of times last year, and I hadn't made it down to the race ranch, but that's the home base for you. I mean, and every once in a while you tried to run the new car at I-37 and had some issues with it. So, I mean, do you still like to travel? I mean, if gas wasn't the option, you'd just run around, wouldn't you?
Back before the diesel prices went crazy, I tried to race every weekend I could.
Yeah.
Now I got a fiance, so I have to try to spend some time doing other things as well.
Bring her ass to the races. Come on, man. You know what to do.
Oh, I know. We're breaking her in.
Do it slowly. Do it very slowly, my friend. I can tell you, my wife is not a racing person. She's like, okay, you do your thing. But so Cody, talk about your dad. I mean, we haven't had you on here before. Man, the legend that is Bruce Beto. Man, you talk about racing in Corpus. That's a dude.
Man, I grew up idolizing him.
Absolutely.
Little did I know at the time, because it was what I grew up with, but that guy can do way more with less than anybody else that I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll pick up used parts off wrecked cars and stuff and make it work and go out and win a race. I mean, that's just the way he does. I wish I had half the talent he had.
Yeah.
So, Cody, let's talk about this new car you got. Obviously, brand new IRP car over what you had before. I think you had a BMF dirt car before. Talk about the advantages of just breaking in a new car and where you just finally decided to bite the bullet and get a new one.
Yeah, I kind of didn't race all that much last year. I mean, after blowing up an engine and transmission rear end, I kind of took a step back, and it was about mid-season last year, and I decided that, hey, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it all the way.
Yeah.
So I started saving up money and just went ahead and bit the bullet and got the new car and really did my homework, did a lot of reading over the off season and try to put it together and make it run good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it paid off. It paid off. So I think you are one of the guys that can talk about this best. Talk about the difference. I mean, to race on pavement and then go to dirt. I mean, man, I sucked. I sucked on dirt. I mean, talk about that difference right there. It is. It's night and day.
It is night and day. On pavement, at least, especially in the sport mods, you could just drive that car as hard as you could the entire time.
Yep.
If you weren't driving it balls to the wall, you were slow.
That's right.
I tried to go off and do that on a slick dirt track and spun out about 4 times in a 5-lap heat race. It's something else. They say the dry slick tracks kind of turn into pavement tracks.
Bullshit.
I say kind of, but if it was covered in ice.
Right.
And then on the other side, you got the heavy tracks. Whenever you go off into the corner, the car don't want to turn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it has grip once you do get it turned, but you got to get it turned or you're going to plow down that wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the track changes during the night. You really don't have to fight that on pavement. And me, it's just a whole nother discipline.
Yeah.
So are you any good at it?
I wouldn't go that far.
Apparently so.
I got kind of lucky on the draw. I mean, yeah, I did want to go out there with his new car and win the first race, but I'll tell you what, I was nervous as could be. That checker flag could not come soon enough. I was waiting on 2 to go, and I saw halfway. I was like, crap.
Yeah. Counting the laps. So what all are you going to do this year? I mean, I know we talk about fuel and gas and all that. I mean, that's hard. I mean, that really messes shit up. I mean, what's the plan for you, Cody? I mean, you gonna do the race ranch? You gonna do Texana? You want to travel? What all's in store?
I'm gonna mainly stick around Corpus at the race ranch.
Yeah,
because the main sponsor, New Oasis Brewing Company, it's based right here in Corpus Christi. It's downtown. It's a cool location, and so I gotta kind of stick around home and support those guys. But I'm planning on traveling here and there. Probably not going to make every race out of town, but I'm planning on traveling a little bit.
Man, I think we should have a live revved up show before a race ranch race at Noasis. I think that'd be good.
Sounds like a good idea.
I know a couple guys. We could possibly make that happen.
I love it.
Hey, so I was looking on your Facebook page one day and I saw 1,000 beer count. I thought is what it said. Was that at New Oasis? I mean, have you really tried 1,000 different beers over there?
No, actually, the night before the race ranch race, I tried my 5,000th different beer.
5,000. Oh, okay.
Holy shit!
You just made Rodney jealous over here now.
I drink this. I drink the same cheap 2. Every night. That's, man. Wow.
Hey, people like what they like, man.
Yeah, no, that's all good. That is all good. So, seriously, how cool is it to win that first race? Because I know, and talk about Owen. I mean, when we talk about, with the race ranch and everything that Owen has done throughout the years, but for him to take that thing over, and Stevie did a great job keeping the place afloat. But, man, it's got to be cool to have that thing thriving.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Owen knows what he's doing. He had the stands packed and the pits packed for sure. I'm just happy to see a hometown track going again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still wondering about this fiance thing for you, dude. I mean,
you surprised or what?
I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I thought you were always going to be race car first, dude. I really was. All that time and effort you spent with the wrenches on the race cars. So, I mean, don't be wrong. I'm happy for you. I'm totally happy for you. But, I mean, it sounds like life is good for Cody. You won your first dirt race. You got your fiance. Now she sees that all the money you spend is a good thing because you got a fancy trophy to show for it. I mean, sounds like now's the right time for you, man. Timing is everything. So, hell yeah, get with it.
Hell yeah. And when you find the right one, you find the right one,
She likes a beer sponsor. Does she like beer?
Hell yeah, she does. Oh yeah. She's my brewery buddy. We all hop around all the different breweries and stuff all around Texas.
Yeah. That's a good place. Corpus is a good place to go hang out. But good stuff, man. Way to win that race. Proud of you, man. I'd love to see that, man. That was so cool.
Thank you, sir. Hopefully we can do it again. The pressure's definitely on now.
I would say so. I would say so, my friend. Thanks for the time, dude. We'll talk again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care.
Later.
You bet. There he is. That dude, man, that's a feel-good story right there, too, because he's worked his ass off, and he's humble. Because he would talk about, I mean, it's hard. It's a hard transition. Trust me, I know it's a hard transition to move over to dirt.
Well, I don't think he gives himself enough credit for when he was able to do with Tom's. I mean, full disclosure here, I helped him a lot with that series, but it was more on the promotional side and the PR side and the race directing side and stuff along those lines. All the money and everything, that was all Cody Beto.
Yeah,
that was solid Cody Beto. I could say that we did this and we did that. I helped him a lot, but it was all his money.
Yeah.
I still got some Tom shirts. I mean, he spent almost, we decided to double the order because everybody said they wanted shirts. We ended up spending $1,500 on shirts and still got a whole, canister of them.
Yeah. And that was the thing. I mean, he took that upon himself. I mean, he did. I mean, you guys, with everything that y'all did right there, I mean, he had guys that wanted to race. And he took the bait. I mean, he took the bait, and he did it,
and it was successful.
It was. Field. I mean, it was great. I mean, I think that to me, I mean, I love the Kyle races. I mean, those are great. But when we got to race at CC Speedway, to me, that was the coolest part for y'all series was that we got to race at CC Speedway, and I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you pulling 25 sport mods into CC Speedway. I mean, that turned into a hell of a race. I mean, you're pulling 30 cars to Central Texas Speedway during a damn concert, and you got guys that still to this day, you got some of the guys that never said they were going to run asphalt or never thought they'd run asphalt again. You got them coming in and had a really good mix of characters and different drivers and stuff. And it was a really good, solid mix of people. They helped out each other a lot, and we had to come. I mean, I'm still friends with a lot of the guys that we ran with the series. So it's the race. We talked to Josh about being the racing community that it is, and it certainly is. As we said before, the camaraderie portion of racing is what makes it special. The wins are great, and you remember the losses more than the wins, but the wins are great. But it's that camaraderie and that family feeling that you get when we're all around this big family we like to call racing.
And I have to tell you, I always thought that the biggest thing that y'all did was that big balls move when people bitched about the tires. You found the alternative.
And they hated it.
And we ran them on the dwarf cars. I mean, but they were, 1,300 pounds or whatever they were. You found it for them. And still.
I mean, I remember talking to you about the retreads on the dwarf car. We were you and Butch and Arden. Well, and we were trying to figure it out.
We used to run those in the street stocks or all the classes at Austin, and they were good. I mean, you lost some speed, but man, they produced really good competition. And I thought that was such a good move back then. And I wish people would find ways to do that now, because when it comes down to, I mean, think about what he was talking about. I mean, $80 a tire, $70 a tire. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is right there.
I mean, they were bitching about $125 tire, and we damn near cut the price and by a third.
And the thing was,
they hated it.
You could run them for 4 races. I mean, you would not wear them out. You would not wear them out.
He ran them all on asphalt.
Yep.
Ran the dirt races with him that we ran that year when we changed the series to the Texas All-Star Limited Modified Tour. And, did a hell of a burnout for the last race of the series there when he won it in Kyle. And hell, it still had 1 million miles worth of tread on it.
Yeah. That was the thing. I thought that was a great move, but
you know how racers are. Damned old racers.
Yeah, we know how they are. But anyway, great show tonight. I mean, this has been a great variation of talking to, Joey Pohl and then Josh White and Cody. Man, this is why we do the show. That's the conversation we like to have right there.
Yeah, all the different combinations, and that's why it is fun. That is why we do the show.
Every now and then you hear this.
And we go a little something like this. Hit it.
And we did. I think we did.
Hold on, he just sent me a message. Hold on, let me see.
Okay, check it out.
Let me check it out.
See what he says. See if he says something bad. Maybe he says.
Yep, he said the same.
No.
Not today.
Yeah, he said he ran the same 4 tires all year, which is what I thought.
That's why they ran those tires. I mean, that was the basis of those tires. And like I said, we ran them at Longhorn. I mean, it was recaps all the time back in the 90s. Think about that, friends. Think about that. Tire shortage.
Not with the recaps, there wasn't.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, y'all. Thanks for checking in. Great program. Thanks to all the great guests. Bobby, what's up for the week, my man?
A little rest and relaxation. Looks like I'm not going to end up going to Mobile like I thought, so I'm going to miss out on some fun at Mobile.
Oh, damn.
And then a little rest and relaxation before heading off to Vegas.
Love it. Love it. Formula One. Oh, no, that's next year.
That's right, yeah, next year. 2023, Rodney, 2023.
That's right. Sorry. All right, y'all. All the archives at RevvedUpSportsShow.com. Of course, right here on Facebook. It's Bobby. I'm Rodney. We'll see y'all next Monday for another great episode of #Real Race Talk. We gone.